a decorated Coast Guard veteran, a popular OnlyFans model known as Selena Savage, a seemingly devoted wife and mother. From the outside, Chelsea Perkins appeared to have crafted a successful, if unconventional, life. But beneath the surface, a years-old accusation and a burning desire for retribution simmered, leading her from the shores she once protected to the dark, secluded woods of a national park, where she would commit a crime that shocked everyone who thought they knew her. This is Wiz Mysteries True Crime, where hidden lives collide with grim reality. By 2025, Chelsea Perkins was 35 years old, residing in Alexandria, Virginia. Her life with her husband, also a Coast Guard member, and their 2 children seemed stable, a far cry from the solitary ruggedness of her past military service. She had transitioned into the digital world, gaining a following as an adult content creator. Her past as a disciplined veteran contrasted sharply with her online persona, but it was a secret from an even earlier time that would define her future. Miles away, in Cleveland, Ohio, Matthew Dunmeyer, 31, was an aspiring musician trying to build a new life. He had moved from Virginia, was a father to 2 children, and, according to his uncle Dan, was a gentle and kind soul, actively working to overcome alcohol addiction. He was proud of his recent sobriety, looking forward to a future filled with music and family. The serene expanse of Cuyahoga Valley National Park, a place of natural beauty near his new home, would tragically become the final setting of his life, a stark contrast to the peace he was seeking. The first tremor of the impending earthquake came subtly through a Facebook message. On March 5, 2021, Chelsea Perkins reached out to Matthew Dunmeyer. Despite a deeply fractured history between them, an unprosecuted rape accusation Perkins had leveled against Dunmeyer in 2017, she proposed a friendly meetup. Dunmeyer, perhaps believing enough time had passed, or unaware of the depths of the resentment Perkins still harbored, agreed. He told his co-workers he was meeting an old friend from out of town, a seemingly innocent reunion that masked a deadly intent. The plan was already in motion. Perkins traveled from her home in Virginia to Ohio, but this was no casual visit. Packed away, hidden among her belongings, was a loaded 9mm firearm. She met Dunmeyer, and later that evening they were seen by his co-workers leaving a local bar. The vehicle they left in, a distinctive white smart car, belonged to Perkins' husband, a small detail that would later become a crucial link for investigators. Their first night was spent at an Airbnb, a neutral, anonymous space. The next morning, March 6, 2021, under the guise of a friendly outing, Perkins suggested a hike in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Dunmeyer, likely unsuspecting, agreed. As they set off, few could have predicted the grim purpose behind Perkins' unusual attire for a woodland trail. All-black clothing and knee-high boots, noted by witnesses who saw a woman matching her description in the park that day. The air between them might have felt normal to Dunmeyer, but for Perkins, every step was charged with the memory of 2017. The rape accusation she had made against him had not resulted in prosecution, a perceived injustice that had festered for 4 long years. Now, she was walking him into a secluded spot, far from any prying eyes or potential help. Deep within a densely wooded, off-trail area of the park, the pretense of a friendly reunion shattered. With chilling premeditation, Chelsea Perkins raised the firearm she had brought from Virginia and shot Matthew Dunmeyer once in the back of the head. He died instantly, his music silenced forever in the quiet wilderness. His body lay undiscovered for 3 agonizing days. It wasn't until March 9, 2021, that hikers stumbled upon the horrifying scene near the Terra Vista Cemetery. Because the crime occurred on national park land, the FBI immediately took the lead in the investigation. The murder was cold, calculated, but the why remained buried, at least to the public. Was this a random act of violence in a peaceful park, or something far more personal, far more sinister? The twist was not just in the act itself, but in the identity of the killer and the vengeful motive that had driven her across state lines. This was no impulsive crime. It was an execution, years in the making. The FBI, working with local law enforcement, began to meticulously piece together the puzzle. Dunmire's co-workers provided the first lead: the white, smart car. Vehicle records quickly traced it to Perkins' husband in Virginia. GPS data from Dunmire's phone, coupled with Airbnb reservation details, undeniably placed Chelsea Perkins with him in Ohio during the time of the murder. Digital forensics would unearth one of the most damning pieces of evidence: a draft suicide note found on Perkins' phone. She had attempted to delete it, but investigators recovered the text, revealing her initial plan to stage Dunmire's murder as a suicide. This painted a clear picture of premeditation. Ballistics analysis was equally crucial. The bullet extracted from Dunmire was matched to one of 3 9mm pistols legally owned and registered, found in Perkins' Virginia home. Adding to the mountain of physical evidence, DNA recovered from a discarded water bottle near the crime scene was a match to Chelsea Perkins. In a bizarre and perhaps telling move, immediately after the murder, Perkins drove to Michigan. Her purpose: to get a new tattoo. Investigators would later theorize this was a misguided attempt to establish an alibi, to create distance, or perhaps a symbolic act known only to her. The net closed in. Chelsea Perkins was arrested in Florida in December 2021. Initially, court records indicated her legal team might pursue a claim of self-defense, a narrative that seemed to crumble under the weight of the evidence suggesting a planned assassination. After numerous delays and several failed plea deal negotiations, the truth, or at least a legal admission of it, finally emerged. On May 27, 2025, Chelsea Perkins pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and the use of a firearm during a crime of violence. She now faces a sentence of 20 to 25 years in federal prison, with her sentencing scheduled for September 9, 2025. The ripples of Matthew Dunmire's murder spread far beyond the park, creating waves of devastation. In an almost unbelievable and tragic postscript, Dunmire's mother, Tommy, consumed by grief and a desperate need for justice, attempted to track down the woman she believed responsible for her son's death. Tragically, she mistakenly targeted and shot an innocent woman in Washington, D.C. Thankfully, the victim survived. As police closed in on Tommy Dunmire, she took her own life. This secondary tragedy underscored the profound and cascading trauma inflicted by Perkins' actions. The community in Cleveland and those who knew Matthew were left reeling. His uncle, Dan Dunmire, expressed the profound shock and disbelief felt by the family, stating, "It was like a movie. It was all so surreal." The peaceful park, a local sanctuary, had become a place of horror. The known facts are stark. Chelsea Perkins planned and executed the murder of Matthew Dunmire. Her motive, as suggested by prosecutors and the history of the unprosecuted rape accusation, was revenge. The evidence of premeditation is overwhelming, from the journey with the firearm to the attempted staging of a suicide. Yet, a significant, frustrating question hangs heavy in the air for many. Why was the original rape allegation from 2017 never prosecuted? The provided information doesn't detail the specifics of that original investigation or the reasons for the lack of charges. This void leaves a lingering sense of unease and fuels speculation. Did the system fail Chelsea Perkins then, and did that failure become the seed for her own horrific crime? The community, and certainly Dunmire's family, grapple with this complex layer, that the victim of the murder had himself been accused, though not convicted, of a serious crime against his eventual killer. The prevailing theory, solidified by her guilty plea, is that this was a carefully orchestrated revenge killing. Perkins took the law into her own hands, appointing herself judge, jury, and executioner, 4 years after she felt the justice system had let her down. The case of Chelsea Perkins is a dark and cautionary tale. It speaks to the profound and lasting impact of trauma and the perilous path of vengeance. While the pain stemming from her 2017 accusation may have been deeply real, her decision to seek retribution through murder created a fresh cycle of violence, claiming Matthew Dunmire's life and indirectly leading to the tragic end of his mother, Tommy. It forces an uncomfortable examination of how the justice system addresses sexual assault allegations and the desperate, destructive choices individuals can make when they feel all legitimate avenues for justice are closed to them. Chelsea Perkins sought to end one nightmare, but instead created several more, leaving behind a legacy of pain, loss, and unanswered questions about the true nature of justice and the devastating cost of revenge. If this story captivated you, subscribe for more Whiz Mysteries, and let us know in the comments which case you want next.